Hi, everyone. Welcome to today's Lean Publishing Tip of the Day live stream. As always, with all of these tips, you can find articles related to them on our blog at leanpub.com/blog. Those articles will be there forever. If you don't find the article right away, you can click on the magnifying glass on leanpub.com/blog and just search for the article. Where it's relevant, you'll find links to articles in our help center, our author help center, and things like that. And of course, if you want to sign up for the Lean Publishing Daily newsletter, where that also includes these tips and some great deals on ebooks and things like that, just go to our homepage at leanpub.com. And there you'll find a banner at the top where you can sign up for the newsletter. And also, these videos are live on, these are recorded and are will remain on YouTube on our playlist for the Lean Publishing Tip of the Day forever. So hopefully, if you're ever sort of you've got some time to spare and you're sort of thinking about how can I up my self-publishing game or my writing game, you can just go to our playlist on our YouTube channel and check out these tips. So today's tip is about something that's ancient, as old as writing, which is writer's block, partly. And it's partly about just how you can boost your productivity and creativity. And it is not rocket science. It's the tip is go for walks. This one's near and dear to me. I love going for walks. I think it's one of the best things you can do for your thinking and obviously for your health and things like that. Walks have the benefit, although they take up some time, they're also free and they don't really require much equipment other than clothes and shoes. Get a good pair of shoes if you're going to be walking a lot. And you get to know your neighborhood. You get to know the neighborhood where you're visiting, if you're visiting somewhere. But it's just really great for thinking. One of the ways that people typically go about writing books is they schedule time. So at 1 p.m. every Saturday, I'm going to sit down for 2 hours and I'm going to write my book. They might have a plan. They might be like, they might have an outline for their whole book. I'm going to be working on this chapter. And I think we all know what it's like. Some days you just don't feel like it. And some days, the kind of words just don't come from your fingers. This is true in all kinds of work. Sometimes we just don't feel like doing it. Sometimes we're just not inspired. Sometimes the ideas don't come. And one of the best things you can do is take that time and go for a walk. Maybe write down one or two things, you might want to think about on that walk. Make sure to let your mind wander, though. Of course, this will probably happen naturally anyway. But yeah, just take that time, even if it's 2 hours, go for a walk. Think about the things that you were going to be writing about. One thing that you can do, and that I know that Lean Pub authors that I've interviewed for the podcast do, is they take voice memos. You can do this with AirPods and your iPhone, things like that. There's really great kind of transcription apps and things like that too. So what you can do is you can walk around and you can take voice memos when you have thoughts. Just the words that are happening in your head, say them out loud into your voice memo app. And then when you get back, you can sort of use the app to transcribe them into words, and you've got words. So even if you throw them all away, even if you never use them again, that session where you would have just sat there being frustrated, you've actually got some words, you've got some ideas, they're all written out. In fact, you might end up being able to use them. You might come back after an hour and sort of, transcribe your voice memos and then look at them and think about them and modify them. And maybe you've got a couple of paragraphs. Some days, a couple of paragraphs in 2 hours is a great outcome. And you'll have gotten some good, healthy walking time in. Walks are, the funny thing about writer's block is that it's, like I was saying, it's as old as writing. If you've ever heard the song Dancing in the Dark by Bruce Springsteen, I believe that's about writer's block. And it's a great example. A song about writer's block becomes a great hit after it's written. Yeah, and anyway, it's so one of the other things about like writing a book is that it's typically very alone. It's something that you do more or less by yourself. You might at a certain point, of course, there's going to be other people involved. You're going to be asking friends or family members to review it. You might be paying someone to review it. You might be having editors and things like that. But the writing part of it is typically very alone. And what that means is that it's one of the very important things to understand about writing a book is that it's a psychological challenge. You're going to run into moments where you feel like you're terrible at writing, like you should just give up, things like that. I wrote a doctorate years ago. Took 3.5 years. Anyone who's ever done some long-term kind of independent project like that knows how psychological these things are. And you need to come up with routines and practices for when you encounter these difficult times. And one of those difficult things is, I just don't feel like writing today. The ideas aren't just coming. So what you want to do is you want to have something, and this is very important, where that you can do that you will feel productive having done it afterwards, and hopefully also something that is genuinely productive afterwards. And it's funny that the idea of going for a walk, uh, is conventionally seen as kind of, wasting time. It's not. You're thinking. As we say in this blog post, there's a lot of work, there's a lot of even grinding and things like that that go into writing a book, but it all comes from you. It all comes from your ideas. And whether those ideas come at the scheduled time, whether they come when you're famously kind of in the shower, you have a big aha moment, or whether you're walking around, it's the ideas that are the most important thing. So if you've scheduled time to write and you end up just coming up with a bunch of ideas after having gone for a walk, that's actually an incredibly productive thing that you've done. Now, again, you'll want to note things down if you don't have a voice memo app or you're just not used to doing that kind of thing. When you get back home, kind of write down what your thoughts were. Again, that doesn't need to be well written. It doesn't need to be something that you're publishing, that you're ever going to publish. It's just you're noting down your thoughts. One LeanPub author also talked to me once on the podcast or in some separate interview about how they use ChatGPT as, like, they go for a walk with AI, basically, is the way they put it, which is just really cool. You can ask the AI to record what you're saying to it. You'll want to test this out and see how it works and be aware of hallucinations and mistakes and things like that. But you can actually ask the AI questions. You can say, like, you can have, for example, you have an idea. Let's say you're writing a chapter about, overcoming writer's block in your how to self-publish a book guide. You can say something like, "Hey, I think having a chapter about, going for walks would be a good idea. What do you think?" And then you can interact with the AI that way. Um, or of course, if you're fortunate enough, you can go for a walk with somebody else and say, "Hey, would you want to come with me for a walk and hear my thoughts about the book for an hour?" And you can get their feedback as well. So yeah, that's some of these tips are going to be complicated. We're going to teach you how to, like, make coupons and do specific kind of, book marketing sales and stuff like that. But some of these tips are going to be simpler, like this one, which is, if you sit down at a scheduled time to write your book and you just don't feel like it, if the words just aren't coming, go for a walk, think about it. Everything comes from your thoughts at the end of the day anyway. Going for a walk is a great way to do that and to feel productive at the same time. So thanks very much for watching. Um, if you've jumped into this live stream late, all these live streams end up on our YouTube channel at LeanPub, on a playlist for the Lean Publishing Tips of the Day. And they're also on our blog at leanpub.com/blog. And if you go to our homepage, you'll find a banner where you can sign up for the Lean Publishing daily newsletter, which is published every weekday. So thank you very much, everybody, for watching this video.